Hello, 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 hello. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Hi, thank you for allowing me to be part of your Saturday, which is what it is now, but good morning or good evening or good night, depending on where you are and when you are viewing this. Okay. It is a dreary again and very humid day in my part of the world. I'm actually glistening. It's so humid. It's been the wettest spring I can ever recall. And it looks like it's raining again. Oh, well. So today's topic is one where I think it really it really boils things down to the issue. And I will go into that in just a moment. First of all, a little housekeeping. If so, oh, someone says good morning, I assume that means you can see and hear me. Um, if you are first time here on Crowdcast, this platform, which if you're viewing this on YouTube on replay, I highly recommend registering for these live streams on Crowdcast. It's free, it's easy, and once you're registered, you're good, and you get all kinds of benefits from that, in my opinion, Your Honor. Anywho, there is a speech bubble with a question mark in it, and I can see someone's posted a comment, question, observation, whatever it is, that kind of pins it, which is good. And there is a poll, and I see that DH wrote, Casey has posted a poll for us to take, and I did indeed, kind of around the topic today. That being said, I'm going to say how I have learned and followed the ketogenic protocol for now over 11 years. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. If you're viewing this on replay, there'll be a link to page 4 below on YouTube. But you don't even need a food list. Eat fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, limited amounts of full-fat dairy. The vegetables and the dairy are not required if you don't want them. Don't eat if you're not hungry. This is key. Second key, stop eating when you've had enough. And I've added be patient and persevere. So that's the protocol. That sounds simple enough. And indeed it is simple. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. So let's get down to the point. Anyone can memorize food. It's animal proteins and the fat that comes with them. Eggs with the yolks, chicken with the poultry, with the skin, pork with the fat, beef with the fat. Yeah, this is not rocket science. But then there's everything else that goes along with what, how much, why, and when we eat, and whether or not we feel like we're in control of those decisions. Oh, there's JCK in the back. You can say, hello, Jack, old guy Jack. You know what he's looking for? He's wondering where his cookie is. Here you go, buddy. Here you go. He'll go back to his bed. He thought maybe he had missed one. He's an old guy. He's over 15. And this is the most exercise he gets, is coming to me for a cookie. Okay. So what do you mean? Who's in control? We are obviously in control of what we put in our mouths, unless we are strapped down and being force fed, which rarely happens. So there are a couple of different things. The title is Why We Turn to Food for Everything. There are two components, and the poll, well, Judy, your screen freezes every week. You're going to have to refresh your screen or use a different device. Sorry, sister. Because no one else, my screen is not frozen. Refresh your screen or use a different device. Judy's our special friend. We even have a sticker and a magnet that celebrates her autocorrect. Instead of coming out awesome, her autocorrect came out sardines. Okay. So there's the there's the okay, so we're on a desert island and we're just going to eat the food that's available and that's it. But very few of us are on a desert island. So if we are in society, if we are around other people, if we're in a community, there are the public and social events, celebrations, commemorations because it's Tuesday where everyone around us is eating. Everything becomes associated with food. Food is included in every event, in every celebration. And if we are in that, it kind of feels like, well, we are kind of having these eating opportunities thrust upon us. There's that component. That we have to be realistic and say, you know what, just because the buffet of bagels and croissant are in front of me does not mean I need to partake. So we have to get over that. We have to get over but it's a wedding. Everybody eats a lot and eats cake. No, the couple will probably still be married by at least through the end of the day, even if we don't eat cake. Or Or it's a birthday party, it would be rude when everyone else is enjoying the celebration, or Aunt Ida made that pie just for me because it's always been a favorite. You see what that dog is doing? He's coming back over here wanting another COOKIE. Well, I'm going to make him wait just a minute. So those are the outside forces, right? And we have to become comfortable with letting Aunt Ida know that we still love her and we appreciate her efforts, but we just can't eat the pie. The pie does not serve us well. There's that challenge. This is the whole process, right? Not standing up so much, although sometimes we have to stand up to other people. We have to stand up to other people who feel like they get a vote on what we eat and make snarky remarks about it, about what we do or don't eat. But we also, want to not hurt people's feelings. We don't want to feel like a cast out. We want to get along. We can get along without all the food at these events and celebrations. That's one aspect, the social piece. I offer up that the more challenging, even more challenging piece is not the input from outside, but inside our brains. I want you to think about when when you decide to eat, or it doesn't even just have to be food. When you decide to engage in a behavior that you know does not serve you well, but you do it probably as a distraction from whatever it might be. Around Go Keto with Casey, we have this little thing. You've heard of the HALT method. This is from 12-step programs. Don't make a big decision when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. We've morphed it. Don't make a decision about eating if you're bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired. Because a lot of times we turn to food for all of those states of mind. I'm bored. Let me order a pizza. Okay, so two things. Okay. If you're saying I'm bored, let's order a pizza, you are probably absolutely recognizing that you're ordering a pizza not because you're hungry, but because you're bored. Two different things. Lonely, angry. Has anyone here ever revenge eaten? Stressed. A lot of us say, listen, I've had a rotten day. I am anxious to the max. I need some chocolate. Mm. Whatever's causing the anxiety or the stress will probably still be there even if you eat chocolate or popcorn or french fries. So why do we turn to food for everything, whether it's a social celebration or these moments? Why? Because that's what Western culture that's had enough money to do it, has done for 3 generations. Everything calls for food. Good things, bad things, stressful things, celebrations. Think about back in the day. Why did birthday cakes become a thing? Because sugar used to be very expensive and rare, and mortality rates were higher. Although we're probably going to catch up with those with all the chronic diseases. Anywho, celebrating the fact that someone lived for another year, you would put your treasure into this cake, and it became a celebration. Look what we've done. You made it another year, and we have spent a lot of our treasure on celebrating that fact. Well, now people get birthday cakes at the gas station, and they're not even birthday cakes. They're just cakes that you buy at the checkout and eat in the car. Why do we turn to food for everything? Because that's what has been done to us, and that's what we have gotten used to. We don't even think about it anymore. Wait a minute. What do you mean? I'm having a 4th of July party to celebrate fireworks and all that. Would it still be the 4th of July if you didn't eat a hot dog or a burger? Yeah, still would be. Oh, a baby shower. Well, let's make sure we have lots of special colored cakes. Okay, that's cute. Can you have a baby shower without it? Could you have a baby shower with non-food items in addition to the gifts? Everything has become bad day equals. I just saw a commercial for something, some kind of, I think it was a new kind of M&M. And instead of a peanut M&M, it's a peanut butter M&M. And they're actually using the word, I think they're using the word cope. Here, eat these. It'll make it easier to cope. I mean, the food manufacturers know how our brains work. We don't use food to cope. We use food to not cope. Now I'm feeling bad for him. Jackie, come here, Jack. Oh, now he's deaf. He's still looking for another cookie. He'll come back. We don't use food to cope. Let's just accept this. We use food to not cope. We use food to distract ourselves from whatever the situation is. Here he comes. Why do we turn to food for everything? Let's step back and think about it logically. But then let's take it another step. Okay, so there's an explanation. Okay. No one's oh, sorry. I interrupted my own self. Let me get to this question. I said use the question thing, and I'll come back to the story. We have a question from CAS. What do you wait? What do you to not eat when you're not physically hungry? What do I do to not eat when I'm not physically hungry? I do other things. Isn't that funny? I mean, I understand the question. It's like, well, if I'm not eating, what else am I going to do with my life, with my time? I have all this time on my hands. Well, I keep busy. And I do things I didn't get around to doing before. But I think you've hit your very key point. What are you going to do if you're not eating, if you're not hungry? I don't know, anything from read a book to go horseback riding to learn a different language to attack your junk drawer to lots and lots of things. Do jumping jacks. But it's a good question. I think if I'm understanding your question correctly. Uh-oh. Maybe it's the way to. Oh, my husband just messaged me. He's in Colombia. He's clearly not watching. He's not watching this. Thanks, babe. Anywho, so thank you for the question. Why we turn to food for everything. And so we've gone through okay, there's the social, and we have to just, okay, no one's going to tell me what to eat. just because it's a party or a funeral or a whatever office meeting. Then there's the why do we turn to everything, every state of mind that we have? Okay, so now we say, well, because that's kind of what we've been doing all our lives. To, all right, so what are we going to do about it? Just because we have an explanation why we turn to food for everything doesn't mean we should turn that into an excuse to turn to food for everything. There's a different, an explanation is different than an excuse. Yes, I understand why I did that. I'm talking for myself. I had to quit using that, well, it's because when I was, growing up, or because when that happened to me, or because, everyone was mean to me, or whatever it might be. I can identify the explanation, but not hang my head on it being an excuse to continue with doing things that don't serve me. Okay, so I am going to I hope everyone is being able to comment. Last thing I saw was Judy wrote that her screen was freezing up, but that happens to Judy every week. But if someone can let me know, can you see and hear me? Um, I'm going to turn. You don't have to buy one thing to be 100% successful at the ketogenic protocol, but I will happily sell you a cap or a tank top. This one says Go Keto with Casey, or a mug. You can see a link to my spread shop below if you're viewing this on replay. And I have a private support group at patreon.com, which you can try for 7 days free trial. And for $5 a month, you get 20 pre-recorded morning video snippets every weekday morning, even when I'm traveling. And I really appreciate that. If none of that really interests you, if you could just give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel, that helps as well. Everything helps. Thank you. The food is easy. I mean, memorizing the food is easy. Oh, the poll was interesting. Thank you, Karen. Oh, and before I get to it, I want to let you know last week's poll, where the question was, how challenging has reducing carbs been for you? Here were the results. No one responded that it's been really hard. I'm still learning what foods to avoid. Yay, no one's struggling that hard. 28.6% replied, kind of hard. I know what to do, but I have trouble doing it. I think that's a very common situation. 28.6% responded, much better than when I started. Not perfect, but better. 14.3% responded, I'm confident that I have things under control. And a whopping 28.6% replied, it's no longer a challenge. It's part of my life. So that's good. Yes, the poll, let's see what kind of results we have. All right, so the question is, do you find it difficult to separate activities from food? And the responses can be, yes, it doesn't feel right if there's not food included in the planning. Or sometimes most gatherings include food. Next response could be, it's not events so much as emotions, good and bad, that trip me up. And the last one is, I'm doing much better at eating only when hungry, no matter what's going on. So let's see the results so far. No one has said it doesn't feel right if there's not food involved. 37.5% have replied, sometimes it's hard. Most gatherings include food. 62.5% responded, it's not events so much as emotions, good and bad, that trip me up. And no one has said, I'm doing much better at eating only when hungry. I think the emotions is the thing. I mean, we can work, we can practice, we can surround ourselves with people who don't feel like they need to push food on us. Those are processes. But the bigger process is here, right? It's, if hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. That is no fun. Wouldn't it be better if caramel popcorn could fix things? Rotten boss, send me over some caramel popcorn. Fight with your spouse? Yeah, I want some ice cream. But that's not the way it works. I wish. If only that worked, then I would never have had a care in the world in my previous life. Karen writes, I'm I'm the quote, what's going on in my own head that causes the struggle. I think that is probably the majority. You know, the headlines can say, oh, just cut out the carbs and everything will work. Well, that's fine if you, but you, we still have to decide what, how much, when to eat. Don't eat if you're not hungry. I'm eating much less than I used to eat. I keep sharing this. Why? Because I am older. I require less fuel. Body composition has changed. I'm sure hormones are involved. But I still have to ask myself, am I hungry? I push the peckishness. You know what is peckish? Peckish I could eat, but I push it. And it's usually another 2 or 3 hours before I feel like, okay, exactly hungry. I'm really hungry. I'm going to go eat. And then I eat slowly. I'm going to tell you that's a pro tip. DH writes, exactly, Karen Callahan. Okay, he's got one more, no, two more available cookies. Let's see if he comes back. Isn't it cute? He goes and says, did I leave one over here? Karen writes, my husband's negative attitude hurt my wonderful daughter's feelings yesterday. I looked over at my husband's candy jar a couple of times. Well, that's a couple of layers of challenge, isn't it, Karen? You can get a little ticked at your life mate, and then you feel like you want to support your kid, and then you need some support too. He's getting another cookie. I make Jack's food. It's very keto. He's very healthy. He's very healthy, but he's 15 and he likes these Kirkland brand dog biscuits. So he's getting them. Like I said, that's most exercise he gets all day. So see, that's multi-level stress right there, Karen. So you looked at the candy jar, but I bet you didn't eat any. Kimberly writes, hey, Kimberly, been there, Karen. Stay strong. I know. I'm almost 70, writes Karen. I may have to turn to dog biscuits. I will tell you, and it did not happen in a minute. Once I started this on January 8th, 2014, even though I knew low carb worked for me since 1977, but I had fits and starts and many at bats. But when I started on January 8th, 2014, I have not looked back to carbs. That is, it clicked with me this time, and I wasn't going to change. And I felt better almost immediately on physically and emotionally. So it's not, am I going to, look to the candy jar? That is not, but I've had to get used to eating less. And I had gradually came out of eating out of emotion. I remember when it happened, I was in my previous career, which could be very stressful. And there was this one day I was on the phone, I was in the kitchen of my house. And I'm on the phone with another party in a big transaction, and they just screwed up. They messed up. And then I don't know what to do about it. So I needed to do something about it. So I needed to get on the horn with attorneys and blah, 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 blah. And I was irritated at the situation. I was irritated at the other person. And so I get off the phone and I'm clumping around, and I think I made myself a cup of coffee, and I sat down and I started trying to take care of the things. And then I realized, whoa, if this situation had happened, whatever it might have been, 9 months earlier, a year earlier, 6 months earlier, I don't remember. If this had happened before I started on January 2014, I would have been eating by now. I would have gone into the pantry or to the fridge, or I would have got in my car and gone to a fast food restaurant because I was irritated. So when you start recognizing, whoa, I didn't even think about eating and I'm really irritated, that was a milestone for me. So it is a continuum. Now my challenge is not eating out of, not to prevent myself from eating out of anger or stress because that's just not it. It really is recognizing when I'm actually just not hungry. But what else am I going to do? I mean, my husband's been gone for over a month. It's just me and Jack. This is his last one. There you go. Yikes. Um, and there have been times when he's been gone for a long time before in Colombia. And I this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I had my phone and I had the Domino's app open because we used to order Domino's at least every week, sometimes 2 times a week. And I had my finger. I had the cart full and he'd been gone about a month. And there wasn't that much food left in the house because I didn't shop. And I was just about to order a pizza and I was going to scrape the toppings off. Now Papa John's will sell you a Papa bowl with no crust. Anyway, this was before that. And I was like, I'll scrape the toppings off. And I thought, no, you know what? I'm lonely. I'm a little bit irritated that he's been gone so long. I don't trust myself to scrape the crust, the toppings off the crust, and then give the crust to the chickens. So I didn't do it. That was as close as I've come that I can recall. All right, I'm going to turn to y'all's comments. Kimberly writes, I think it's important to have a healthy outlet for those big emotions. I've recently returned to creative writing. It's been very cathartic. Cool. I admire writers. I admire good writers. Karen writes, so true, Casey. We are rewiring out our habits and brains day by day. I just recently had a phrase. I think I shared it with the patrons. Maybe I'll make a sticker out of it. And this, I'm speaking for myself. I'm out of the habit of eating out of habit. That's a big one. Another sticker and magnet thing I've got is, are you out of, it's a picture of a fridge. Are you here out of hunger or out of habit? Because habitual eating is a thing. And we just have to get out of the habit of eating out of habit. Yeah, that's a big one. All right. I'm going to say I'm a little bit disappointed that my husband is not here. He has chimed in before, even when he's in Colombia. Oh, by the way, I'm heading to Colombia this week. I will possibly do a live stream from Colombia, depending on what we're doing, connection and all that. And I appreciate the good feedback I've gotten about the Beyond Keto with Casey video I posted a couple of days ago. Not about food, but about selling our coffee from our farm. It's just a little 6 or 7 minute video, and I really appreciate the feedback. And I've heard, please, more Beyond Keto. Someone actually wrote, I really appreciate this because, frankly, hearing the same thing about keto over and over is boring. I couldn't agree more. And I am moist from the humidity. So Kimberly writes, that would be amazing. I assume you mean transmitting from Colombia. I'm so excited you're going. Yes, please stay in touch, writes Karen. And Kimberly writes, I loved that video. Thank you. Thank you. Connection can be a little sketchy. We have a farm, a beautiful little finquita where we grow coffee and plantain and limes. And we have a porch with a nice view of the valley and the next mountain range. It's the Andes, but it's the Andes. So, and if a storm goes overhead, connection can be spotty. But I'll give it a go, maybe, particularly if we're at the farm. I will try to do that. Thanks, guys. I very much appreciate the support. There is a support button below, and some of you have pushed it and contributed. I very much appreciate it. And Kimberly writes, how long will you be there? I'll be there for 2 weeks, and then my husband and I will return together on the 24th of June. So I'll get right back into it. And Jack will be staying. There's a nice boarding facility, which happens to be at his vet's. So he'll be there, and a family member is coming over to tend to the chickens. All right, friends. We have to get out of our own ways sometimes. We have to not turn explanations into excuses. We have to own the fact that food will not fix anything other than hunger. And eating food does not necessarily enhance a situation. Sometimes it kinda ruins it. Not during, but, immediately after. "Why did I go to that party and eat all that food? Why did I have that slice of pecan pie?" "Because Aunt Ida made it for me," and then you feel guilty and, who needs all that?" So, thanks, guys. I will see you the next time I see you, possibly from the mountains of Colombia. Possibly it won't be until we get back. Thank you in the meantime. I very much appreciate it, and, namaste.